You're listening to the Midwest Coven cast. I'm Susie.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Marilyn.
We're three modern pagans stumbling through life and honoring our craft.
Join us in conversations about, well,
just about everything.
And we hope that you enjoy this week's episode. Welcome, Coven.
Coven.
This is our season finale.
I am going to jump and hop and skip to the other room and get our ritual candle.
Ooh, yeah! It's our last opportunity to...
We are recording in a
ritual.
different room than we usually record in.
Yeah, Marilyn has this nice, awesome couch in here, so we've been, chilling on it. We went live earlier on Facebook for the first time, so if anybody was on that, they already saw her couch. It's beautiful.
If you guys didn't catch that episode, you guys should go to our Facebook page and look up our videos and check our lives. It's probably the only one there because we've only done it once.
And obviously we were, figuring things out and it was awkward. So it's great content to watch because awkwardness is always fun to watch in people.
So, yeah, I think they should definitely go check that out. And
I'm excited for these Q&As.
Yes, it's our season finale Q&A. So we're traditionally...
I sound like Kelly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Kelly's on this whole response. Yeah. The other day I was like, "You're quite agreeable today, aren't you?" And she's like, "Yeah." She's so damn cute. But anyways, yeah. So for our season finale Q&A, we're obviously trying to keep on tradition.
Yeah, because this is what we did. Yeah, this is what we did. I wonder where she got that other than you. Apparently, maybe me too.
I was just going to say,
it came out pretty naturally.
It did.
But yeah, we asked you all for questions, and you delivered, and we're going to get to some of your questions today.
Apologies for it being postponed for a week. We had some stuff that came up, so we had to kind of push some things back. So I appreciate everyone's patience.
They got the bonus episode out of it.
That's right.
Which hopefully they laughed like a whole 2 seasons worth of laughs. And got a real good ab workout. I definitely did as I was putting it together. Like, I was laughing so hard.
That's one thing I thought was kind of cool about this whole thing anyways.
We are nuts.
Whenever I listen to any of the episodes and it does come to our funny, I laugh out loud. Like, it's...
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I just like you were saying earlier before we were rolling, like just having girlfriends now, because that's always like, I've always been that awkward loner, and even though we're like family because we're cousins and you guys are sisters, but like it's like, for some reason, I know a lot of girls that grew up in the 90s like we did that exclude themselves from groups, and I'm one of them. And so to have a group now, even though it took me 30 years to find one, it's nice to have like a group to get together on a regular basis and like have friends.
100%.
I 100% agree.
Because for those younger kids out there that still haven't found your group, it's out there. You might be in your 30s or your 40s or before you figure it out.
But just be true to yourself and they'll come.
Yes. As you have found your way to us to ask us these amazing questions. Yes. See how I pivoted right back to
Marilyn and her pivot.
Pivot!
She's like, get on topic, y'all. Come on. Okay. We have a handful of questions that we have prepared to answer.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to take the floor for the first one. I'm already being chatty. I've had my fourth cup of coffee because I had an espresso before I came, and then this is my third one here.
All the caffeine.
We have all the
What did we say?
Today.
What was the quote? Coffee, the drug of the morning.
Coffee, the drug of the morning.
That's
the drug of the morning.
Yes. But we have a question from Terry, and it's about my home birth experience. And she said that she thinks she'll still end up at the hospital, but how did I prepare? She says my home birth stories are interesting and asked how I prepared for it, whatever. I'm good with grammar and English.
It's fine. Your message got through, so it doesn't matter. I think that people understood.
Yes, but I'm going to just plug away at my book because I got a book by Heather Baker. She's used to be a midwife. Well, she's still a midwife, but she wrote a book, and now she is a huge advocate for home births. She has a whole group on Facebook, which I can link to, but that group is super beneficial if you have any questions that aren't covered in the book, but the book pretty much covers everything. It's called Home Birth on Our Own Terms, a guide for home birthing unassisted. And that's what I did. I went with unassisted, and I read this book, and I went through it with highlighters and pens and everything.
As a college instructor, all those little notes just make me so proud.
It reminds me, like, back when I was in confirmation, and I had, like, the Bible, you're learning the Bible testaments, and you have them all tabbed. That's what my book looks like. It has all the tabs, all color-coded down the side of different things, and all written on them, and then I got my highlights and my stars and my pens, all on the information that I thought was important to know about the home birth. Anything that wasn't common sense to me, or even if it was common sense to me, and I thought my partner might need to know it if I were to hemorrhage or become unconscious or just be too tired to explain what I needed done, I had tabs on everything that that could have gone wrong, even if I knew the information.
That way, more or less prepared for like all possible outcomes.
Had to prepare for everyone else as well, and tell them, "Hey, I have this thing ready for you. If I need you to refer to it, boom."
I have this book, and everything like is labeled. If there's something wrong with the like.
Did you and Trevor read parts of it together, I assume?
I don't think he read a single page of this book, honestly.
You probably told more or less told him.
It's funny because, I tabbed it and highlighted it and did all that, and I was like, why don't you just read the highlighted part? And he was like, I trust you, I'm confident in you. And I was like, well, what if,
I'd be like, but you know nothing.
Yeah.
So. You don't need to know these things, too,
You've never had a child before, and I'm going to trust you. So I made sure that I knew everything. But he was helpful. Like, he would listen if I knew that there was something that I needed to
Well, he helped you
explain.
clean up your poopies,
right?
right?
He might
so,
poop off my foot.
That's fine.
But like you said, if there was something that was like, hey, I need you to listen to this part and know what to do if this happens, he probably obviously he knew how to cut the cord.
When I was in labor, he actually brought me the book.
Yeah.
Not sat down and glimpsed at some of the stuff. Mm-hmm. I was in labor. He went and made sure the book was nearby me.
Yeah. I would have been like,
tell me what to read again, honey. I don't remember what you told me before when I was supposed to read it.
I was like, at least familiarize yourself with what the tabs say.
Yeah, what sections.
So you know where to look exactly when the time comes, since you're not going to bother to actually read and prepare yourself now.
Which is very typical of any man, let's be honest.
Yeah, you read the instruction manual after you build the thing incorrectly a couple times.
I think I'm going to wait until she's actually hemorrhaging to read the chapter about what to do if she's hemorrhaging, because that will work really well.
I'll be able to read real fast and apply things really fast at that moment.
Great,
No, I mean, you were...
We're joking, Trevor.
Yes.
But aside that book, I also, when I was in college, I gave a speech about water birth and the pros and cons of that, which when you actually do the research on it, there's a lot more pros than cons for mother and baby. And a lot of the things that people would think are a risk with a water birth are actually benefits and actually not risks at all if you know the anatomy of birth and the breathing responses and things like that. Like, the baby's not gonna inhale the water, and because the face needs to be exposed to the oxygen first in order for that response to even take place.
So from the amniotic fluid that's in around them, surrounding them, transitioning to water is still not opening them up to oxygen.
No, they're not going to gasp or take a breath until
they surface.
Well, theoretically, yes, but if the placenta starts to detach before they surface, then obviously, because once the baby's going to be birthed, your placenta is going to birth shortly thereafter. Mm-hmm. So if the placenta is starting to detach, then they're not getting oxygen. So they're going to need to breathe eventually anyway, so they can't stay under the water, but you got a minute.
If they're under there
minutes.
for a second, it's going to be okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is, it's not
as risky just think as soon as it would come out into the water, that it would just be trying to breathe the water and then would drown in the water. You know what I mean? That's
they're still getting their oxygen through the cord at that point, and then I don't know the actual term. I did know the term when I did my report on it, which is kind of my point, that if you are planning on doing something like a home birth or something that you've never done like that, or doing something unassisted, to act like you're writing a book report on it. Like, do the research, find scientifically written articles that are peer reviewed, that have other references that you can seek out further information if there's something that you don't understand or that you feel that you need to know more about.
Right.
You know, don't just take my advice and then one and done it and be
well, she didn't, it was just
think
fine.
You're set to go. Like like do a research like you're gonna write a report on it, and
you yourself have to
potentially
feel
like
comfortable
even
going through with it.
You know, consult a medical professional.
Yes,
like
I had prenatal care through mine, so my pregnancy was not unassisted. Although that is another option that you can choose is to have an unassisted pregnancy and birth, but or either or
but you kind of did a combination, like the one like through it. And then
you guys
after.
had some tools at the house that were like to test the baby's heartbeat.
Yes, we got a heartbeat monitor, and then I was also doing like the sugar pricks for my finger. I didn't do that. Like, I did that when I was supposed to get my diabetic screening, because I did not do that as part of my prenatal care. But so I did my like sugar test at home to make sure I wasn't diabetic, and then I also checked my pulse throughout my labor, and just monitored myself. We made sure that we had the tools that we needed to monitor me and baby safely.
Yeah. Nice. Any other books or anything that you would recommend for Terry?
Just the one by Heather Baker, because, and like I said, she has a group on Facebook. I think she also has a group outside of Facebook, but I'm not sure what. I'm only on her Facebook group, so I'm not sure what other branches she's available. But she is a great knowledge, and she's very active in her Facebook group. So there's moms that home birth, and they have something that comes up that they weren't prepared for. They ask in the group, and her or other midwives or doulas that are part of the community support them. So it's a really good support group system also.
Yeah.
That's
nice.
awesome.
So I think, ladies, we should get to another question. I think that's hopefully that, or do you think you answered your question?
Like
I don't want to assume, but okay, cool. So we have another question from Melinda, and it says, I've always worked a lot with colors in my practice. So out of curiosity, what are each of your favorite colors, or what color do you vibe with most, and why? Whew. Okay. So, do either of you want to go first, or I have some?
I can go first.
Okay.
So I lately, and it's been kind of throughout at least the past like 5 to 10 years, I've been really drawn to greens, blues, indigo, and purple. Indigo more recently. Like, I know this sounds really weird, but like, I didn't even really know what color indigo was until I started like studying the chakras. Like, I kind of thought I knew what indigo was, but I did not know exactly what indigo was. So, but I love indigo. But yeah, I've always been drawn to greens, blues. Like, I love beachy aquas. Like, for some reason, the beach and the aqua-ish greeny. I love minty green kind of too. But yeah, indigo I find kind of more like mysterious, I guess. And the fact that it kind of associates with your third eye and the pineal gland and stuff, I find kind of also like mysterious and fascinating. And then I also really love purples. I've always been drawn to purple.
That was my number one choice, would be purple.
So. Yeah. Something psychic about it, or like, you know, higher self about it. Slightly rich or luxurious.
Yeah, for me it's like the regal, like the royal.
Yeah. Well, back in the day when there used to be sumptuary laws, purple was oftentimes like you could not wear purple unless you were like the
royalty.
king or some sort of royalty, or there were like certain colors or fabrics.
Like it was outlawed to be wear.
Yes,
I thought
100%.
it was a poor thing. I thought it was something along the lines of purple dye was really hard to make and come by. So
that
rich
certainly played into it, but
it
there
was
also
a
like
sign
a social
of their
class.
wealth. It was a sign of
Right.
their wealth,
Yeah.
but like
It was restricted also upon
Yeah.
that being.
But sometimes
also
there were
like a
laws
class
that
thing,
restricted the
Right.
wearing of that particular color. Yeah.
yeah. But other than the supremacy of it, I also like purple because it's delicate and
Yeah.
like a soft, like lavenders. There's the
Yeah.
calming serenity feeling
Lilac.
of purple.
Lilac too. Mm-hmm.
So
I had
can
someone
agree
like
with
make
that.
like a lilac cordial or something like that on
cordial,
on the
what's
place
that?
on like TikTok recently. So cordial is my understanding of it is it's kind of like a concentrate almost, and then you can put like seltzer water in it or something to like dilute it, kind of.
Okay, so it's like a
sort of simple syrup adjacent as well. It's
okay.
Yeah, but you basically make this mix, and then you can put like somebody's made like elderflower cordial. Actually, that's gonna be when I put out our
You know what? I think
newsletter. It's gonna be something.
Is it like
kinda
a
that.
liqueur almost? Because I feel like when I'm stocking the liquor, I've seen something cordial as like a name of a famous liquor.
There are it can be an alcoholic drink. It isn't always. But yeah, so
it's like a cherry cordial.
Yeah, I think that's what I
like
would
the hard
say.
shell chocolate with like
no, that's like a chocolate.
Oh, no.
Yeah, never cherry cordials.
No.
I think that might be different.
It's like a
Oh, man.
drink mix almost that you it's
Concentrated.
Like a concentrate almost.
Okay.
Yeah. At least that's what I know it as. There might
But
be other
anyway,
things
sorry, that was
are,
totally a
but-
tangent that I asked you that question on anyway.
No, that's okay.
So what was the original thing that you were saying? I'm sorry. I'm so bad with doing that.
I don't know. Somebody said something about you said lilac. And I said
yeah,
someone made like
lilac
a lilac cordial or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because you were like
We're
talking
talking about
purple.
colors here. We're talking about colors,
Yes.
Susie.
Bringing it back. Back to our old ways, y'all. Tangent Central.
But yeah, I think when I think of green, I think of like growth and love and like stuff like that. And then when I think of blues, I think of like calm and like peace. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
think that's probably why I've been drawn to those ones because I've been wanting, love and peace, and I'm a hippie. And...
I also like black also.
Yeah.
Same. Big
I'm a dark
same.
person.
Same. Big same.
Like I kind of don't like admitting it for some reason. Like I try and incorporate color, but then I go in my closet and I open it and there's so much black, and I just like it.
Yeah.
Like I try to not, but
Yeah.
I do.
You know what's the funniest story about black is, okay, so when I went to get my nails done, I would go to this salon and I would get my mani-pedi, because I'm bougie like that. But all the girls there always looked really professional, and they always looked really clean and just nice and just whatever. But I noticed that they have black as their base. They would have a black t-shirt or shirt, black pants. I don't know about shoes, that'd probably vary. But and they have maybe a colored sweater, like a gray or a tan or just a basic something like an over sweater. And it was so cute. I was like, you know what? That's my look. I'm going to make that my look. So then from there on, that's what I was. I was black pants, black shirt with a sweater. And sometimes I would add some color and pop with my shirt.
Yeah.
And then go with a black sweater. But then I saw something recently, and somebody was talking about beware if you wear black because of it, having it absorbs, They were like, when you're wearing black, beware of the environment that you're wearing it in because, if you're around, negative people that you don't want to absorb their energy, you don't want to wear black around them. You want to wear something that's more, light-spirited or something. I don't know. So I was like, oh, God, I can't wear black. Because I was in...
I think it sort of depends on your own associations and stuff like that. Because, black, for me, is
very
different.
much so.
Because my two colors are black and white, are probably the two that I like. I've always loved, black and white color palettes, sort of the balance of the two. But also, they're both technically, depending on the form, they are both mixtures of all colors. If you mix all colors of light, it is white. If you mix all colors of pigments, it's black. So, for me, especially, in my practice, they both sort of represent all colors. So, they're a versatile substitute for,
Right.
other colors if you are not able to use a certain color of a candle or something like that.
Right, like if you're
for
doing like a
example.
love spell or something and you want like a heart, like or a pink, you don't have a pink candle.
Like if you
to,
want,
like,
if
seal
you did like a self-love
self-love
candle or something,
Yeah.
If you don't have pink, like a white would be fine. Even to me, a black would be fine because again, like the whole concept of, it being all. I mean, I know some people are like, but like white is pure and black is whatever, and I'm just like, no, they're both
yin and yang.
I don't look at it that
other.
way. I think they are each other in a lot of senses.
Yeah. I can see
So, at least in my practice, that's kind of my thought on that. But also, like, for black, it also sort of represents stability to me, too. And then white, like, cleansing, protection.
Yeah.
So.
I like that. I like both of those colors, too.
Yeah. I mean, I do like some of the other colors that you guys mentioned, obviously. Like, the purples. Like, I love
But your
my
go-tos
amethysts
are
and things
more
like that. But, yeah, those are, like, my two go-to. And because they're, like, so versatile, they're probably, like, my, like, favorites for partially for that reason. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, on to the next question.
Yay.
Next question we have is from Rhiannon Hart. And can I say the...
Yeah, for her. She
Okay.
gave us permission.
At Heartfelt87 on TikTok and at Rosary Sparrow on Instagram. That's ROSAIRYSPARROW. Her question was, what are your favorite conspiracy theories? Mine is currently missing 411. So,
I'll let you guys go.
First of all, do any of us know what 411 is? Or
I have literally no idea what this is.
I do not know
I
either.
didn't either. So
I'm not
honestly,
informed.
I literally just was looking it up, and I was before we went on here. Yeah, what is the missing 411 phenomenon? Following his work on Bigfoot, Paulides, I think I'm saying that totally wrong. Next project was Missing 411, a series of self-published books and 2 documentary films documenting unsolved cases of people who have gone missing in national parks and elsewhere.
Well, as somebody who likes to go
Is
hiking
it like
in national
Bigfoot
parks,
or
that's
something?
terrifying.
Is this
How many
Bigfoot
people?
adjacent?
How many people go missing in national parks every year? 600,000 people. An astonishing 600,000 people go missing each year in the United States, and many of them do so while venturing into America's wildlands. Most of these stories have a tidy conclusion. The missing person is often found alive.
Oh, so that's not going missing for good. That's just
yeah.
like reported missing for a minute.
Like
So,
they were supposed
like-
to hear you here an hour ago.
Yeah, oh
I
shoot,
need to
this
know how
person
many
is
people
gone.
were found.
Yeah, like, how many unidentified bodies are found each year? What country has the most missing persons? Okay, these are going like crazy. Okay, so, they're...
Interesting. I'm gonna have to look more into this because
Yeah.
this is one that I'm not like familiar with.
Yeah,
I mean,
would
I'm
have
familiar
to
with
look
a
more
lot
into
of
that
conspiracy
one.
theories, but that's definitely not one that I am. There are just so many.
Yes, there are so many.
I'm gonna step in with my favorite then, which obviously, as a pagan, it's gonna be the Salem witch trials and like all the stuff for just Salem related conspiracies and
So
how
is
it was
this
witches
true?
in general and not just the ear gut infections of the,
So I'm no, I don't know all about these.
You don't.
I don't delve
Okay.
into these ones as much, so
basically,
me.
they were going around claiming that all of these people were witches because they had all of these things going on that they symptomized as being a witch.
Oh, yeah.
But what really happened was there was ergot, which is like a form of mold, that was easily contaminating their crop at the time. And so once that spread throughout the town, more people started having the symptoms. Therefore, more people were being ousted as witches. More people were being murdered because they were being accused of their witchery and witchcraft.
When really all they had was a disease from this crop.
Yes, they had mold growing in their brain from their food that they ate. And
so they were just misdiagnosed as...
And, yes. And also the other, like, pagan-related conspiracy that I didn't even know until we started this podcast, and you brought up that you thought paganism was people eating children and burning them in bonfires and things, and diving more into that conspiracy, that's also obviously towards the top of my really, what the fuck?
What? What did you think about my religion? What do people think we are? What? This is crazy. You know, honestly, you know what? This wasn't on my list, but a conspiracy theory of mine in regards to that is I wonder if sometimes things are put out there to be feared or, you know, drawn away from because they're actually what people should be looking into, and that's what people would probably be resonating more or less with. But instead, let's suppress that down, not tell people about it, make them afraid of it, actually, to even consider being one. Well, because a lot of people that are pagans are kind of outcast from society once they. Well,
that's literally what St. Patrick did. Was he tried to say that pagans were snakes and that we were trying to come in to ruin their communities, and he led them out of Ireland? No,
it's out of Ireland.
Ireland, yes. Okay.
But the snakes were definitely
the pagans.
So as a kid, hearing about St. Patrick's driving the snakes out of Ireland, you think, like as a little kid, you learn about like, oh yeah, St. Patrick driving the snakes out of Ireland to save the potatoes. That's great.
Well, that's why
they're not talking about actual snakes. They're talking about they actually tried to get rid of the whole religion of
and
people.
we celebrate it.
Yeah,
we celebrate it.
I just want to say though that's I feel like a lot of people celebrate it because like Columbus Day.
Yeah.
That's when we just came and stole the land from the native people, and we celebrated that for decades.
I kid you not, I just saw this thing the other day that was like, Happy 4th of July to
cover
everyone,
up,
except for Native Americans. To them, my deepest regards.
Like,
it's like, that's true.
We cover up things with celebrations so people don't read about the news of how the story actually should be told.
We celebrate
it's a holiday.
They don't question much.
Let me go buy the merchandise that they have put in front. This is my conspiracy theory, actually, was about how the media has just taken all of us and made us into basically money-making machines for things that are so bad for society. So
there's so much that I
question.
It
all intertwines.
Yeah. I don't understand human existence. The working to the obtaining the things that we think we need to survive, but really we could survive just as well as animals if we didn't need all these things. We could just go and live.
What's interesting though right now, especially about like media availability, is like, you know, you see all of these, kind of like what you were saying, like they try and like. The way that you see things on the news and or the way that even in fictional stories, the way certain things are depicted, basically, like it gives you a certain sense about certain groups of people or certain kinds of jobs or certain kind of whatever.
All in our movies and TV shows.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's not just like the news media,
it's
right?
Into the culture.
Representation of certain things. And
yes, exactly. Well, I think
normal because they grow up.
The other side of the coin, though, is like now, like. Sort of like when the printing press became available, and then when like TV became available, whatever. Like, although we don't necessarily see those things as like, they're basically mass media, right? So
they're
like
advancements,
and more each time we evolve, more people have access to the tools to create media, which can be a great thing, but it can also be like a terrible thing because like we have neo-Nazis like out there who are proliferating in these like online spaces and growing worldwide, which is fucking troubling. But also, like, you have people that are out there like educating people about like history, like we can't let this happen again, and like you know, letting people know about what things that are going on within our government around the world, like whatever. And we have like, you know, this availability to that kind of information. But then again, there's like this other side of the coin that's like, what is reliable and what's not, you know?
Right.
It's, yeah.
And there's the people trying to control the information that are censoring the people that are trying to inform
and there are
others.
countries and things like that do that for sure.
Yeah.
I heard China has their own internet, that they don't even like have regular internet. Like if you were
for years, I don't think like Facebook was available there, if I'm not mistaken.
Like it's crazy, like. Well, and it's the war on information and the war on attention, because literally our attention is, I think, the biggest thing that they're realizing that's what they need to continue everything going on the way that it's been going on. Because if they continue to hold enough people's attention where they want it to make the money off of it, then they're not going to be putting their attention on themselves and living their lives for themselves.
Yeah.
And actually bring
information
good
and
into
knowledge
the world.
is definitely, it's...
Yeah, if it starts with education, because if people are informed, then they know better to question some of the things that they've been misled to believe is true. And
you need, like, media literacy and shit. Like, this is what I should probably do. I should share... So one of the things that I use with my students are these 2 courses from Crash Course on YouTube. And I use these as supplemental materials on my, for teaching. But it's basically media literacy and, like, web literacy. So, like, how to source information, how to, like, double check information, like, whatever. Which I think is really important, especially in the kind of media.
Well, I agree that because I feel like sometimes I can get sucked down certain channels that I do. Like, there's some channels that I watch that I do take with a grain of salt because I understand where their perspective is coming from. So I obviously know kind of what they're going to say about it and what their angle is to get me to think. So I sometimes going into those things, I think I actually learned that from you, was if you know the angle that the person is already coming from, then you know kind of how to approach
it's one tool in your chest to, like, sort of discern, like, credibility to a degree, at least.
Right, exactly. At least if you know kind of that ahead of time, then you kind of know a little bit of...
You can take it with a grain of salt.
Right. Yeah. You know what to kind of question and what to take as truth and whatever. Not all the time, but it gives you at least a hint of it. But, I don't know what I was saying. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
I thought I was leading into something, and I totally don't know what it was. Lost my train of thought.
Oh, that's okay. But yeah, well, I use those 2 courses. I think it's really helpful, especially in the media environment we're in now. Like, it's, the flow of information and all of that is important, but it can be used for good or evil. And there are a lot of, as Sam kind of noted, there are a lot of, or can be a lot of bad actors out there.
So, I'm going to go back in time, and I know this one's going to be a little bit, I don't want it to be, but I feel like it might be a little bit stirry, but the very first conspiracy theory that I ever heard about, and what opened my eyes to conspiracy theories having, hey, maybe a little bit of truth to them, maybe, I don't know, made me at least question and go, loose change. Have you guys ever heard of that?
The 9/11 video.
The 9/11 video. You're 100% familiar with what that one
was. I'm 100% familiar with it.
Have you seen the...
I have seen it, but I've also seen a lot of stuff that debunks it from, like, scientists and stuff. So
See, now that one...
I'm not on your side, but
No, I would love to see those, because I haven't seen those, and I haven't really sought them out, either. So, like...
Oh my god, it's been years, but I'll see if I can find
Okay, so back in the day, I was like... It was back when we lived at the other house, the little house. So I had to have been maybe, like, between 18 and 21 years old, I think, maybe. Yeah. Anyways, there was a conspiracy theory video that came out. I don't know if it was by a company called Loose Change or whatever. Loose Change was what I associated with it. And it was about the 9/11 and how it was an inside job by our government and how there were, like, people that talked about, like, they had dog bombs coming into the buildings and doing a sniff test a week before this happened, and how they had all these, like, they had, like, test runs on how this could happen, like, weeks before this happened, like, they did things with the planes, they did things with the buildings, they did things on all these different things.
I'll be 100% honest with you.
Hold on, I want to finish,
yeah,
so I'll just kind of lay out the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they basically were saying that they did these things, and that there were actual witnesses that came forward and said that yes, they did have dog bombs, they had all these things happening in these buildings. And then they also said that there was very disturbing evidence that they had brought forward. Like, for instance, on a plane there's supposed to be a black box in the pilot's thing, whatever, that records what happens in the cockpit. So apparently they couldn't find those. But they did find, in that whole entire crash of a whole building coming down with a plane, or 2 buildings coming down with 2 planes, the passports of the people that did it. It was fucked up information.
I'm guessing that they probably wouldn't have needed the passports, because even
I'm just saying in general that they came forward with some stuff that made me go, that's fishy, that's suspicious, that makes me go, what?
Yeah.
And here's the thing, and honest to God, this kind of goes hand in hand with the Epstein thing. I feel like things come forward into society, they get brought forward somehow, sometimes these things make it to the light of day, and then somehow they get shut down and suppressed and put back down, and no one even investigates into some of the things. And it's like, I would like to know as a citizen that some of these things that, like, people raise red flags to at least get investigated. And, like,
I will say
I actually don't disagree with that. I think
yeah,
things should definitely be investigated. But I think that there's also, like, bad actors that put together these, like, quasi-compelling, you know, arguments that, like, when you look
get views and
into, like, the,
likes.
like, yeah, well, I mean, they use all kinds of tactics. Like, you know, they'll use, like, people who aren't really experts in that field to talk about a field they're not really an expert in. But they have the title doctor.
Which they did talk about how, like, oh, yeah, these people came in, and they were talking about how the buildings, as they went down, looked like a demolition. And they had, like, a whole bunch of people on the video that were, like, you know, building demolition experts claiming that that's what that was, and how could the steel be cut at this angle and such, and I don't know. They did bring forward evidence in that video that was very questionable, and it made me go, did anybody investigate this? Like, really investigate all that?
I mean, there have been scientists, especially on the science
end. If you
did
debunk all of it, though, that's what I'm like, okay, you should send me.
Well, here's the thing.
Who are the scientists working for? Are they scientists of the American government?
They're usually,
or
like,
are they
university employees and, like, whatever,
are they
typically.
paid off to say that that's not
well,
what
were
that
they
is?
getting paid off to say what they were saying on the video?
Right.
I mean, it goes both ways.
And this is the problem with information in society today is you cannot trust sources. You cannot trust, like,
well,
where
you can to a degree, but you just need to verify things. And, you know
that's what I
mean?
should
like,
say, is that there's so much verification needed for you to
and people
trust.
don't
You can't just trust anything and everything. Like,
yeah. I'm sorry, Sam, but you've been wanting to say something. And we're just over here like, hey.
Yeah, what I've been trying to say is that I think, like, the main problem with it is no matter, like, what happened on 9/11, whether it was our government setting something up or if it was
genuinely
terrorists or if it was just two rogue people that, or, like, not two, but, like, a rogue group of people that's one and done and not a terrorist group anymore, whatever the scenario was, the whole purpose of it was to drive hate and drive racism.
Oh, 100%.
And drive
split people
countries apart, America apart, and they very well succeeded in that.
That I totally agree with. Yeah.
And whether it's a conspiracy or a real event, like, it happened, you know, like,
right.
Like, and I think that's one thing that, like, I don't want to discredit, that, like, even people that believe that it was a conspiracy, they're not discrediting those lives that were lost. They're discrediting
I'm not trying
how
to say that
those lives came about.
Right.
Lost.
Right. 100%.
Agreed.
And I think the other thing for me about this is, like, I don't want to give the impression that I think that the U.S. government is, like, inculpable. I don't think that. I mean, there's already been, you know, like, we've heard things like, you know, that they heard chatterings that, like, things were supposed to happen around that date and, like, things
I've
like
always
that.
questioned
And there
Sandy
were not.
Hook. Sandy Hook's been the one that I've fed into believing was a setup, but like,
I just don't believe
like,
that,
School
though.
shooting, right?
Yeah, that was the elementary school in Florida.
I think with that one, it's easier for people to think of it as not real because
not
it's
a real person,
such a
that
fucking
it was somebody
horrible
that they made
thing.
do that.
Yeah, like, I mean, I can see sort of why for some people it would be like, it would be more comfortable to think that this is just a sham. The reason I don't, though, and, like, I don't know if I've ever talked about this on the podcast before, but I am essentially a school shooting survivor, and it's fucked up my life in a lot of ways. I'm scared to go outside sometimes, and, like, I wasn't even in the classroom where it happened, but I was amidst the chaos, and I saw someone who did get shot, and it's kind of fucked me up since then. So I know that these things do happen because I've been in the middle of it, and so I don't know. It's very hard for me to think that someone would make something that horrible up.
Yeah.
And, like, affect that many people. And, like, and plus I've seen, like, interviews with the families who, like, you know, like, they are approached, like, every day with people, like, Sandy Hook deniers. And, like, you just see the pain in these people. And, like, I relate to it. So, like, I believe them. I believe it's real. It's horrible, but it's real to me. And, like, I mean, I know there's conspiracy theories and, like, there are things that people put out that look compelling. and I don't find those
I
particular
think
ones compelling, but
the sad part about the whole thing is that we have to question it, and
Right.
that there's people that question things like this, if they're real or not, or if it's our government playing us.
Right.
And the fact that we can't trust our government to believe one or the other is the saddest part.
Honestly, and this is also going to be whatever, but it has everything to do with people on an individual basis making everyday decisions in their own lives. And it's like, because I remember when I was in management, I remember seeing certain people, I mean, some people are great at managing and leading people, and they're leaders. They're not managers. But yet, there is such kiss-ass going on, even at a level as far as retail goes. And yet you have these corporations that are running things a lot of times, and then you get people that are in politics and in government. It makes you wonder how much kiss-ass is going on. It makes you wonder how much manipulation is going on. It makes you wonder how much people being in people's pockets with the, lobbying and stuff is going on. And it's fucking up everyone's lives. They don't care. It's everyday decisions that people are making, and it's all selfish for themselves. And it's like, people need to just slow down.
I do think that there are
bigger picture.
The few, but there are some, I think, good people in government and in these sorts of positions, but they are so outnumbered.
Thank God for those people, because there's so many.
There's still a fight to be fought.
We need to do better about getting better people in at the local level, because here's the thing, politics especially, the people who are terrible, they often rise up from the ranks of, being on the school board and, being a town alderman or, whatever. They work their way up from these small towns. They build a reputation for yourself and then get themselves into state politics and then, larger politics. And some of them throughout the way just get so corrupted. Not all of them, but a lot. Too many of them.
To piggyback off of that, it's crazy. I just saw this TED Talk the other day, and it was about incompetent leaders. Mm-hmm. And it was talking about how a lot of times people that get into leadership are very incompetent, and it's all because they put out this,
air of,
vibe of, I'm so confident, and I'm the greatest, and just follow me. And people are prone to following people like that, but that doesn't always mean that those people are right. And a lot of the times it's the behind the scenes people that really are the ones that know what's going on, but they're too shy to really stand up.
If people have
and
a little
lead.
bit of charisma, people tend to follow. But this is how we get cult of personality. I'm debating how political I want to get right now. Well, let's just bring it in a different direction. You see how people follow Charles Manson or or Hitler during World War II. You're how the fuck can people get so
behind a person
behind something like that? But then we see recent events. It's I feel like I am now starting to understand how it happened then.
I think when you see somebody who's in a power position, you kind of want to give them that trust that they're that they somehow earned that power, that other people are trusting them because but sometimes they come from power out of nowhere and they just have that and take a completely different direction.
And
you're misguided because you think that you're just following what everyone else, not what everyone else is doing, but
they must be trustworthy if everyone else trusts
you get
them.
the game's trust of them already because their following's just so big from the get-go. Mm-hmm. And people with money get that way. They have the favor of if you have more money, people are going to know you more. You're going to have, even if you're not popular, people are going to know of you.
You're going to have influence by
influence. That's the word I need.
Yes.
And some people don't have the vast majority of people's best interests at heart, and that's just reality of the situation. And so we need to be more cognizant of especially political leadership, because we have a direct impact on that, but also say things when we are working in places and spaces and things like that, and they're moving at people who are tyrannical or whatever. We need to have some.
Well, I very much think that we need to tap into our inner children most of the time and ask ourselves why. When we're doing something that this is the rule and this is how we do things. Well, why is this the rule and why are we doing it that way?
Yeah. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Is it just because we're told that that's the way it's supposed to be done, or is it actually because this makes sense to do it this way? Or,
for instance, go ahead.
What are going to be the outcome of events if I do it a different way?
Yeah.
Right. Well, well, two things are coming to my mind now. Is like pregnancy and giving birth. Like this is the setup for you. This is the path that you're drawn out to take. But like there's other paths that you can take. And like when I was in management, it seemed like, yeah, I felt very much like when I would ever get pulled to the side for a meeting report, I would just sign it because I felt like I had to sign it because obviously. But, like, no, you can refuse to sign that shit. Or you can sign it in duress or whatever. You can say, hey, no, like, I do not agree.
Like, they forced me to sign this in order to...
To get me out of this room, I had to sign this shit, basically. And, yeah, like,
I had a job, I had to sign an exit interview. And the exit interview was terrible, saying that, like, I put in... that I was quitting when I was actually being fired, and like the reason was obviously not why I was actually leaving.
So
but
for legality
reasons,
they could not have to pay you fucking unemployment probably.
Well, and I thought that I had to sign. They told me, well, not that I just thought this myself. They told me that I had to sign it in order for them to release my paycheck to me. They said I had to sign my exit interview in order to get my last paycheck, which. They can't deny me my last paycheck regardless of what I sign or don't sign.
But they'll tell you whatever they want. Just like when I transferred stores, I didn't even really read what they put in the document. We had a conversation, like, amongst each other, and they said, okay, just sign here, and da-da-da. I signed it. Well, when I went to the other store and I read what I signed, I got demoted, is what they basically put in there. Like, as a result of this, she's becoming a team member. As a result of what? You guys fucking me over on my breaks that you were okay with for 5 years? Yeah. Oh, I would never have signed that shit if I'd known what I was signing. Right. But, you know, it's on document now.
I think to wrap this up,
Sorry.
because I keep going too, but like that's what I'm saying. To wrap this up, my favorite conspiracy theory is life itself, and I just question every fucking thing. Nothing is real. It's all a simulation. I don't know what the fuck's going on or why anything matters.
The conspiracy theory of everything.
Yes.
Of life.
Everything is a question mark.
Everything is a question mark. I will concur with that.
Except for Flat Earth. That is the one that I find kind of the funniest because there's just been so many people that have gone to space and come back and actually reported back on how beautiful it is. And then I've seen such footage from satellites and stuff.
Have we gone to space?
Question mark.
Yes.
You know, this is so true. You know, they have really good, they can do anything with the technology on screens nowadays.
They're just getting better at convincing us that
they're finding better actors. They're finding better actors to fill in these positions.
The robots are getting better at our
There
programming.
would be way too many people that would have to keep that secret. There's no way.
Well, we're never going to go on a rocket ship and find out for ourselves, so we're just going to have to take them for their word.
Or did they really just give them a bunch of drugs, put them in some VR that made them think that they're in space?
They're just like, you're going to trip balls for a few hours.
They can manipulate.
We're going to send you on a trip of your life.
You're going to the moon today, baby.
Oh
Tell us what you report when you get back. So
everything's a conspiracy. See?
We're in the Matrix. Deep in the Matrix.
So, I think that, Rhiannon actually
has a second part to the question.
Has a second part to the question that I haven't even gotten to. So she asked, have you had any experience with the paranormal?
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
I feel like we sort of touched on this one a little bit in one of our other episodes.
I think it might have been in like one of our very first episodes, like our Get to Know You maybe.
Yeah, it was, because Meryl was
a
never have I
long
ever
time
seen
ago.
a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we talked about kind of if we had seen ghosts or not. So like, yeah, I personally have never like seen a ghost, but I remember like being like afraid of the basement and like feeling like there were spirits down there. And then I remember when I was a kid, I had a like imaginary friend named Sparkling Angel.
Sparkling Angel!
Do you remember that?
Yes, but I remember, like, didn't you have, like, it was, like, a little piece of cloth or something? Like, it was, like, this, like, little piece of fur.
It was weather stripping that you put in the doorway, like, that you put across the door to, like, keep it weatherproof during the wintertime. I cut, like, a strand like that, you know, like, about the size of a mustache.
And she would, like,
I always put it up to my face, and then I would do his voice.
She loved this
He was
thing.
Sparkling Angel.
Sparkling Angel.
It was the weirdest fucking thing ever.
Did you actually see a sparkly angel?
I don't know, though. I don't think so. I don't remember, like, if
Because I wonder if you have, like, a little fairy godfather or something.
Yeah, like, I don't know if I was impersonating him when I did that, or if I was, like,
oh my gosh.
becoming him when I did it. I don't know what the fuck was going on, but I remember that.
Oh my god.
That might have been my like experience with
Had
paranormal.
you just seen,
and
like,
I just didn't know it.
Drop Dead Fred or something?
Yes. Well, I watched it a lot when I was growing up, so I
did
bet
too,
you
yeah.
that might have had something to do with
You're
it.
probably
Like,
I'm gonna have my own imaginary friend now.
yeah, like this is my imaginary friend, an old man with a mustache.
I love
Like,
it.
what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen a ghost. However, recently I had like weird things happen in this house. Like,
Oh yeah, the train thing, right?
well, it was two things. So the first day that things happened, there was like this little, it's like this Winnie the Pooh, like little train thing that a toddler can like sit on or push or like whatever. But there are like buttons on it that sound like a train. It's shaped a little bit train-esque, you know? It's like toot toot. Yeah, there's like this button that you can push and it goes like toot toot.
You have to push the button for it to go. Toot toot.
Right, yes, you have to push the button. So I am alone in my home. And I'm just like, I'm sitting like peeling potatoes or something like that. And in the other room, I hear, choo choo, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I just like sat there like frozen, like, don't move, bitch. There's something
in my house.
And so I was like, sat there frozen in fear for a few moments. And then I went to go check it out, and there was nothing in there. And there's like, I mean, like, I pushed the button myself, and it didn't feel like it was like stuck or anything like that. Like, I literally had to push it down to make it happen again. So then the next day, I'm taking a shit. Of course.
Of course, it's Maryland
And
shit. No,
I
I'm just
hear in the other room, like, a guitar string. It's just like, bing. And I just was like, again, alone in the house, taking a poop.
Yeah.
And so I finished up, and then I, like, went into the other room, and there's nothing. And I was just like, it was just like this, like, one, like, pluck. It was, like, the weirdest fucking thing. And I have no idea. There's potentially, like, some mundane reason for both of these things. Maybe I had, like, a mouse in the house or something. I don't know. I haven't seen a mouse. I haven't heard a mouse. Maybe, like, a bug landed on my guitar string that was, like, of some size.
Maybe a truck drove by and dropped like something off of a shelf onto the guitar, and it.
I mean, it was in that.
Well,
Both of my guitars. And
well,
my baby
maybe
when I think was in.
Yeah, maybe
I
I'm
don't
just hearing
know.
shit.
That
I'm
was
just
gonna be
kidding.
my answer.
I'm just
though.
hearing shit and
That-
finding hallucinating.
No, that was gonna be mine. I hallucinate.
Oh.
That might be my, like, so like I mentioned in like the previous one when we went over this, that like after I got PTSD, I started seeing like shadow
Shadows.
figures,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it was my brain freaking me out, like a symptom of I don't know if it was a symptom of my mental illness or if I was more in tune because of my hypervigilance and because of my hypersensitivity that I get because of those are my main symptoms of my PTSD.
Yeah.
I don't know if those were actual spirits that I was just more in tune with when my symptoms were higher.
Right. So
were
like,
they figments of my imagination, or were they real spirits and I was connecting on them more because of
the state of mind you're in.
Yeah, the state
It's
that
funny
I was in.
because they tell you about the universe in terms of energy and frequency, and I wonder if like when you're resonating at a higher frequency, like if you're on like some thought wave or whatever, like if you're able to literally see differently when you're on a certain frequency, I guess. I don't know.
Well, because I kind of felt, this is going to sound creepy, especially if Trevor ever listens to this episode, but like for a really long time after Levi was born, I felt an evil presence, and I don't, like I said, it could just have been postpartum depression or part of like a symptom of.
But you felt something was trying to.
But maybe
you?
they're just like making. I don't know. Now I'm gonna sound like I'm not even gonna go there. But like
But you felt like a weird.
I felt
heavy...
an evil presence around him for almost like the first year. And like for the first probably 6 months of his life, I couldn't stare him in the eye. Like I was afraid to look at him in the eye because I could like feel like the evil like trying to. I don't know, but anyways, I don't sense that anymore. So I feel like the good one and like, you know, like, I don't know. Now
Like, he could have gone either way.
Yeah, I felt like
But,
there was
like,
an evil presence that wanted him, and like that, like it's
knows
gone
that he's
now,
not-
and
That's not his.
Yeah.
That's not yours.
Like,
He's mine.
it feels weird to like say it, like tell people because like you know,
Did
like
you
I feel
feel like
I'm
you
a
had-
crazy person.
Did you feel like you had to almost like protect him and keep him and like fend off?
Yeah,
Energy?
like I would just like hold him, like
Yeah.
you know, like I held him all the time.
And and I could tell that
Yeah.
he was very drawn to you, and he would always like, he felt very comfortable and protected when he was with you. So,
Yeah,
I find
I
that
felt
interesting.
an evil presence. I don't know, and so.
Hey, you know what though?
And like I said before,
When you're
when
a
I had
mom,
my
you
birth,
have
I felt like I
instincts.
went somewhere else too. So I don't know if when I went somewhere else, if that's when something else tried to come in. And
They're like,
when
ooh,
you know,
something's
like,
available.
She opened the portal.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's gonna be a portal open soon. I better try to get in on that. Yeah, I mean, I know that it sounds weird too, but like with energy,
We
and
must
spirits
escape the
and stuff,
birthing
you know.
portal with this lady's with this lady's loin chop.
I mean, you never know. Have you guys
Fresh
ever
meat.
seen the movie? I think it was either called Seven or it has Denzel Washington in it, and it basically has like this evil spirit, like that lingers or whatever. It was in a murderer. And then, like, the guy, Denzel Washington, I think, plays, like, the police officer. And then there's this, like, evil man that has this spirit in him that's the evil murderer, whatever. Well, he finally catches him after all these years, and they're in the room together, and da-da-da. Well, anyways, the guy, and they end up, I think he escapes, and they're in this cabin area together. And Denzel Washington actually realizes that he has this spirit in him, and it keeps on going from one to another to another.
I don't know if I've ever seen this.
And he's like, well, I'm going to bring him out to this cabin so that way when he dies, there's no, and I'm going to kill myself so that way there's no other spirit for him to get into. So basically, after he was done, the spirit, it shows the spirit kind of like, you know, lingering around, like looking for life and like desperate to hang on to life, and it gets into a fucking cat at the end of the movie.
It has 9 lives.
And then the cat goes into the rest of wherever. Yeah. And then the movie ends, and it's like,
oh shit!
That was a good movie, though.
Is it not the one where the 7 murders are based on the 7 deadly sins, though, right? And there's, like, gluttony, and the guy eats himself to death, and then there's,
It
like...
might have been.
I think that's
I don't
7
remember.
with Brad Pitt.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yes.
yeah. That's the movie
Okay.
7. God, I'm going to have to try to remember what this movie is, because it's a good one, and it deserves to be... Yeah,
She'll look it up and maybe put it on Facebook.
Yeah. But anyways, it's crazy, though, that those concepts, although they do seem like out of a movie or something, it kind of, like, makes you go, like those conspiracy theory videos. I wonder. Because we all sense things, and we all vibe things, because we're all of, like, that, you know, we're all of vibration. When you look at us under a microscope, we're all just vibrations. Feel the vibration. Feel the vibration. Feel it.
All right.
Anyways, we have one more question left, though,
we
right? Are we going to...
Let's technically to a kind of one.
Dun, dun,
Dun, dun, dun, dun.
Oh, yeah, so this one. Okay.
So this is, do you want to do it, Suze? Or do you
Yeah,
wanna do it,
actually, I
Sam,
might as
or-
well. So this one comes from a friend of mine, Nate, actually.
Hi, Nate.
Hi, Nate.
Oh.
And it's a funny one. It's an intriguing one that makes you kind of go... yeah.
Ponder.
It makes you ponder. That's that's the word. Okay, so his question is, would you rather always be mildly itchy or always have to wear mildly damp clothes? So who wants to take the floor on this one at first?
I already know my answer. So I would choose itchy, personally. Because the dampness would make me itchy and uncomfortable also. Like, being damp
Yes.
just seems way more uncomfortable than being itchy. Mildly itchy, right? Yeah, mildly itchy, I could tolerate that. But being damp at all is a no.
Yeah, I'm the same way, honestly. I feel the same because, like you said, having damp clothing almost has a little bit of an itch and uncomfortable weirdness to
Like,
it anyways.
you just want to take it off and be like,
yeah, you're
dry.
all... Yeah.
I'm
feel like I
mean,
you seem like
this
you have
also
different-
depends on some factors too. I mean, like, is it an itch in one spot that you're mildly itchy?
What
is
are
it
you
mildly
wet
itchy
from?
everywhere? Yeah, it does. And that
Is
was
it
a
just
big
like
factor
a little
for me
bit
too.
of rain? Is it like I kind of want to know like the degree. Like I'm trying to like picture what they mean, what Nate
By
means by
mild?
mild. Because I'm like, is it just that like my clothes probably could have used like an extra 20 minutes in the dryer type of like, and it will naturally.
Was this
But it's
always?
never
Well,
gonna
it would
dry,
always.
though.
It would
never
always-
dry.
It would never dry. But that like point where, but you know what that. It's like, I mean, there's a difference between that and like, you know, being outside in the pouring rain for like 30 seconds. You know what I mean? Where it's like you get inside and it's just like kind of mild.
If
It's not terrible, but
if
it's
a
not.
fresh, wet, damp, then it's a little
Yeah,
bit better.
they're
than
like different
the
degrees.
Outside rain, wet, damp.
Yeah. If it was
No,
like
I can't do any damp. I don't think.
Well,
if it was
to
like
me,
the clothes damp, I would 100% take that. Like that I was talking about, like just like 20 minutes in the dryer and they would have been good. Like I could do that all the time. I think. But
I feel
I itch. Ooh, I don't know.
I could do dewy. Like if I,
Dewy.
you know, like a
Just
nice
a
I
little
could
dew.
do dewy.
a little bit of dew on a mildly
That's
warm
what she
day,
said.
not like blistering hot, but like just a nice glaze and like cute.
I mean, as long as if it's like
damp.
if it's like out in the sun and I have a little bit of that damp and the wind blows on it to keep it cold, cool down, then that's fine. No, but the other thing that I would question too with damp is the smell. And I'm a big smell person. Like if I have something on me that smells real bad all day, like I don't know. Like unless I am what do they call that? Nose blind to it. Like if I'm nose blind to it, then whatever. But if I can smell like musty smell, oof, no.
The wet dog thing.
Yeah, no, can't
But
do
like,
it.
it's also a hygiene thing that as a female, there's certain things that you should keep dry, and if you're damp all the time, it can cause issues.
Yeah, we don't want no
So
yeast
I don't want
infections.
damp panties all day long.
So see, you would just
You
have
are
to
not lying.
change to like a skirt and commando. You see
Get
this?
those Wicks underwear that absorbs all your
Yeah, but they would always be damp.
Oh, yeah.
Everything you wear is mildly
You have to wear
damp.
like you said, go commando and wear a dress. Like.
Right? Yeah, just one of those big old
It
floofy
flows.
skirts that.
Kimono? Is there wait, is that what is it called? Is that, you know what I mean? Kimono? That's a dragon.
Oh.
Yeah, kimono,
Oh,
I think
like
is
a
like
hoop
a robe.
skirt? Is that what you're trying
Oh,
to
No, it's just like a big poncho, only it's made out of really thin fabric that you just like put your head in. And
They
then
might have kimonos that are like that.
That was-
The kimonos that I think of is like in Japan. I remember in 5th grade we had to make our own kimonos.
I can picture what you're saying, but I don't know
It
what
looks
they're
like
called.
a robe almost. Is what I remember.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I don't
like a
know.
Japanese robe. But either way, so yes,
I don't know. I think mildly damp
so-
for me.
mildly damp for Marilyn, itchy for me and Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. So we
But
actually
it was
have,
a fun question to answer, so thank
Yeah.
you.
So what do we have here, ladies? We have technically one more question.
And it's a fun one. I would love to answer this
Yeah.
one, honestly.
Do we have time to do it on air, or should we take it to TikTok?
I think we should just take it to TikTok because then we can actually like show the thing. Because
Yeah.
well, we should probably tell them what the question is because
Yeah.
they're like,
What?
What you're talking
What
about?
are you talking about?
So, Sam, do you want to do it? You haven't read one in a while.
Yeah, I'll read this one. So it is by Ronnie White, and his question was, what is the weirdest thing that you own?
So I guess we're just gonna keep this as a cliffhanger.
Click on our links on our social medias to find out.
Yeah, so we'll each do a like show and tell of our
Little ticky-tacky.
personal. We all live in different houses, so you know, like I owned a lot of different weird things that you guys don't own.
I picked one particular
Same.
thing that I own that I don't think anybody else owns that I kind of am shamed to own. Not really, but it's just so weird, and I don't even know why I own it, to be honest. And I continue this collection.
Oh, it's a collection.
It's a collection. So yes,
I'm-
you guys will be
okay.
definitely like, what the fuck? But yes, I have something that I continuously collect over time, and I cannot stop collecting them. And I have no idea why I even started and why I can't stop.
Okay.
But
I'm I have literally no idea what this is.
Neither of you do. I haven't told anybody this. Like, no one else knows about it except for me. Corey might know.
Oh boy.
Oh my imagination is a reeling.
Right? I'm like, what could this be?
You guys need
if we
to
don't know about it, because we know about.
Yeah, you guys know about a lot of my shit, but you don't know about this one. This one's a secret that only Mama has.
What room in your house do you keep it in?
Well, I collect it from nearly every room in the house, so it's kind of like, it's something that I keep on top of my refrigerator, and I also keep another bit of it on my dresser up in my room.
All right, well, I guess that just means we're going to have to get our asses on TikTok, and we'll show you what our weirdest thing we own is.
I'll show you,
So-
but definitely,
I'll show you
you
mine,
guys should,
show me
I
yours.
was going to say that. You guys, if we're showing our weird things, you guys need to show us what weird things you guys have in your houses, because I know you're all freaks.
Yes.
Yes.
We want to know all the freaky things that people own in their houses.
Yes. So we'll show you ours if you show us yours. We'll meet you on the Tiki-Taki at some time with our weird things. Until next season, Coven.
Blessed
Blessed
be,
be.
guys.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Midwest Coven Cast.
Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode.
And if you love us, consider leaving us a review.
You can also join our coven by following us on social media.
At Midwest Coven on Twitter and at Midwest Coven Cast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
You can also find us at MidwestCovenCast.com.
Until next time, Coven, blessed be.